So this is going to be a very pinpointed video about how you can end up watering your button mushroom bags in the most correct and appropriate manner. The thing is that there are a lot of people who end up spoiling their button mushroom bags when they buy them initially or when they set it up initially. So these bags are bought from a place called Bagwani Bhavan, and each of them costed 150 rupees. That's about $2 per bag. So I end up getting a yield of 2 and a half kgs from each of this bag. So it's pretty decent. $1 for 2 kgs of mushroom. It's quite amazing. So let me now tell you the exact way of how you have to water the casing, which basically implies the casing soil, which is right on top. As you can see, this is a layer which is about 1 to 1.5 inches in thickness. So this is indispensable for the growth of button mushrooms. Why? Because this acts as a moisture reservoir for button mushroom, and it will only enhance the production of oyster mushroom. When I say enhance, I don't mean to say that oyster mushroom production will happen without it also. So this is indispensable. Basically, you cannot do without it. Without you cannot button mushrooms will not grow without the presence of casing soil. So I'll tell you how, or rather what is the correct way of watering the casing soil, which eventually means having a humid environment inside each of these bags. Because the fact is that if you put too less of water or too much of water, both are bad for the bag, and you will eventually not get the yield you were expecting. So let me show you with, I've taken this one. So this is the bottle I have taken. So just have a look at how I'm doing it. You ensure that the water is spread across at every corner, right? You can see that. That's how I'm doing it. And at the same time, if you notice, just notice how it is sprinkling, how less of the water is sprinkling out. So it's not like I'm throwing water in big large quantities. So I've done it with this bag. I'll do it with the other bags. Before that, I will also tell you one more thing. The fact is that if you put too much water, this soil that you see in front of you, the casing soil, what happens with that is that it becomes non-porous. So the mushrooms actually start to grow here in this region just below the casing soil, which will eventually mean a very very poor production. So after you've watered, this again is something I was suggested personally by somebody who is a part of this place called Bagwani Bhavan. So you make this soil slightly porous, and the best way of doing it, as I found it, if you're doing closet farming or home farming of mushrooms just for your own self consumption, is to ensure that you basically pinch the soil with the fork at home, right? So this will ensure that the water seeps into the straw, and the spawns that are beneath the straw end up getting the moisture that is needed, so the casing soil doesn't quite become non-porous. So that is what I'm going to do with the rest of the 3 bags as well, because I just wanted to make this video. And if you're a beginner, this is one of the steps that you should ideally do. It will ensure that you've sterilized this though. I actually cleaned it really well, and then I put it over gas stove so that it gets completely sterilized. So ensure that there is complete sterilization of the fork that you're using, and make sure that after watering you do things like exactly what I'm doing, so as to ensure that the casing soil doesn't really turn into a non-porous mat. You got my point, right? So it remains as a porous layer right on top of the spawns. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and thank you for watching the video. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Keep smiling, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.